this demonstration, I'm going to show you how we can modify some of the settings also within the Autocat catalog. You might have remembered during the demonstration of the user experience where I mentioned I didn't like the times that motor labor had suggested. And I'm going to show you how you can go in and modify that based on the individual user preference manager. User preference manager is a cloud-based or a web-based tool that allows you to go in and identify the brands and the part types that you prefer to display for your local inventory lookups, as well as making modifications to potentially labor times or the ability for your employees to add additional notes and things like you had seen when I discussed about the water pump, if it was being done in Michigan, to add some additional time. So in this instance, I'm going to log on to my own personal preference manager. And when I sign into this, you'll see I come up with a nice little dashboard that shows me, how many part lookups I've done today, VIN lookups, spec lookups, and so on and so forth, as well as some information, just some general analytics, the most used vehicles in the last 7 days. Obviously, I do a lot of demonstrations with different vehicles, most used categories in the last 7 days, so on and so forth. So just some general analytics here on the dashboard. However, if I look down the left-hand toolbar here, I have several choices, one of them being that labor choice, and where I have the time multiplier. As you can see here, I've configured my time multiplier to be a 25% increase, and you have the choice. Maybe you think motors times are too high. You can do an increase or a decrease by up to 80% in either direction, maximum of 80%. So as you can see here on my demonstration system, I have mine set for just a simple 25% increase from the labor book time. And you can obviously test your percentages and things like that here, just to calculate labor times. But if you wanted to adjust the motor time across the board, now again, at this point, it is global. It's a blanket increase of all labor times according to the motor labor guide at this time. So 25% increase, and I save my changes. If I want to drop that back down, I'll throttle it back down to 20% and save my changes. I can do so. Obviously, a green success there. The change has been saved. And again, this can be done without people having to quit out of AST and go back in. This is being done in the back end via the web, and the changes are immediate. So I can come in here at any time and make these changes at a high level. The other option that I have here is the note management, and this is where I discussed having the ability to put in additional notes. And you can see here where I have the ability to go to what are currently approved notes or pending notes and settings. So you have the ability to require approval before the notes are visible on the front end. So if you have several store managers that are putting in notes, well, that's great. They can be capturing their notes. However, they will be held in pending notes until somebody in management has had the opportunity to review those notes and identify whether or not they're considered approved, and they should be displayed for all other users of this particular preference manager. So I have the ability to look at my approved notes. As we see here, I've got some notes here on a brake rotor. As I look at powertrain and engine, I've got some test notes. And here's the one that we had talked about a water pump. Well, if I'm doing a water pump on a 2018 Chevy Equinox or on the Tahoe, I've got some different notes in here. And I've got the ability, obviously, to edit these notes at any time or unapprove them or delete them. So again, just some nice back-end, high-level changes that can be made to the catalog. So that's under the labor function here. I can collapse that. We have several functions as far as reports. I can run reports and extract information from here. Supplier data or part type usage, unmapped parts, and auto-mapped part types. I like the supplier data here because I've got the ability to select from any list of different brands that I have built on my preference manager. In this case, you can see I have set AC Delco as an aftermarket alternator or starter that I might want to keep track of on my local preference manager. What else do I have here? I've got some batteries, AC Delco Professional and Advantage batteries. Well, if I select one of these that are in use, again, a real handy tool that I have the ability, if I wanted to create an Excel report or a PDF or just print it to the printer. But I really like the idea of creating an Excel file on this as far as the vehicle batteries, because if I could create an Excel sheet on that, I could export all of the battery part numbers for AC Delco Professional and Advantage batteries and use that file to import that information onto my master table if needed. So it can really help with the process of building those. So again, if I were to look at batteries, I've got different part numbers, and other kind of cool thing here is it shows me how many different vehicles that particular battery would fit. You know, in this case, the 101 PG is a vehicle battery. It only fits 21 different applications. Might not be something, you know, that's even worth stocking. But if I look at this application count, well, how about these other vehicle batteries? I mean, these batteries obviously cover a wide range of different vehicle applications. It might be wise to stock these particular types of batteries. Well, again, I've got the capability to export this entire list of batteries, which in this case, there's 297 different battery numbers under the AC Delco Professional and Advantage batteries. So exporting this to an Excel spreadsheet is going to give me the part number, the description, etc. And I would then have the ability to manipulate that spreadsheet to import it into the vast master table. So again, just some handy tools that we have here available for that particular product. The last thing that I'll show is in the Preference Manager. You've got preferences by supplier or by group or view all. If I wanted to go by supplier, I can type in the supplier name here, and let's say that hypothetically you stock the Wix oil filters. Well, I type in Wix and it shows me 4 different references for Wix. I could choose O'Reilly MicroGuard oil and air filters, Parts Master, obviously they carry some Wix lines, or I can just go with Wix in general, and here it shows me the different products that are available from Wix. So I've got 6 different product types that I could include in my general lookup for Wix filters. In this case, you know, I don't care about Wix catalytic converters or engine services. I'm primarily interested in Wix filters. And if I click on the plus sign here, it identifies for me all of the different types of filters that are included in that lookup. So in this case, what I'll do is I will assign a preference to the Wix filters. And the preference needs to be a 1 through a 49 if it's considered a primary, 50 to 98 if it's considered a secondary. So if I mark this as a 1, and my brand code or line code, the manufacturer line code that we use in VAST on the master table, I'll put it in as Wix. That will tie the part number and the brand together, and we'll be able to see what we have in local store inventory. Now, if I had multiple brands for filters, oil filters, air filters, etc., if I don't take the time to set a preference of 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., it will then default, if they're all marked as 1, it would default alphabetically in order on the point of sale system when you're looking up filters. So very easy. I can come in here and I can mark off certain items here as far as what I want. And as soon as I put in a preference level and a line code and save those changes, it's successful. And again, that's immediate changes that are seen at the local store level based on the preference manager called Marty or Monroe or whatever you're using. So just a quick overview of some of the setup of the preference manager for Autocat catalog integration with Vast Commerce. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Thanks for watching.